Hey, happy Valentine's Day. Yep, today's Valentine's Day and I made these special cookies. These are chocolate dipped walnut shortbread cookies. So like a shortbread cookie but made with chopped up walnut in there, kind of ground up walnut. And then I've dipped them in chocolate. Mmm. Let's have a bite. Oh yeah. Mmm. You get a bit of walnutty taste in there. And you get that chocolate. So there's a way to bite them. Go right across the halfway mark so you get a little bit of both. All right. Let's go in the kitchen. Bake some of these up right now. To make our shortbread cookies, these are the ingredients. So across the front, I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I've got here a 1/3 cup of sugar, and I'm using again my unrefined cane sugar, so it's kind of like a blonde colored sugar. 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of butter. Now that butter should be out at room temperature, but it's pretty cold in here, so it's going to take a little bit more creaming. That's fine. Just a little bit more elbow grease required. Then over here, 1.5 cups of walnut pieces. So you don't want whole walnuts because they'll take up, you won't get 1.5 cups then. It'll be different measurement. So broken pieces, like sometimes they're called baker's pieces, or if you get whole walnuts, just break them up into smaller pieces like this. 1.5 cups of that. Back here, I've got a little bit of extra of the cane sugar, and that's just after it's rolling the cookies in. So let's put that off to one side for right now. That's about 2-3 tablespoons worth. It's whatever. The rest you're just gonna use for something else. So first thing I want to do, we'll take those walnuts. I'll put them in the food processor. I want to get them down to like little granules, right? Like little pebbles of sand type of size. So we're gonna hit them with the processor. All right, let's have a look at that. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, granularly. I like that. That's going to give it a nice texture. So now what I'm going to do is just add in the flour and use the processor, a little bit of pulsing, just to mix those two together. Then they're ready to go. All right, that's looking good. I think I see across the bottom of the processor there, a little around the outside edges, a little bit of that walnut. There we go. Just the blade can't quite reach that, so it just sits there in the corners. Let's give that one more quick go. All right, that's ready to go. All right, now I'm gonna take that butter and cream it. So I put that into a bowl, large wooden spoon, a lot of elbow grease, and away we go. Oh, look at that. There's still a little piece of the foil on that butter. How did that sneak by? All right. So, yeah, it's cold. I should have put this butter out somewhere warmer. That just takes a little bit more push. All right, started to soften up just a little bit. So what we're gonna do now is cream that sugar into there. All right, now that that's all creamed together, let's get that off there. And what we do now is I want to beat this to get it a bit fluffy. So, out comes the beater. It's going to be working hard on this one. This is a bit harder than when you've got a bunch of eggs and stuff in there. With shortbread cookies, you don't have that. All right, that's about as fluffy as it's going to get. So let's get all this off the beaters. We want as much of this in here as we can get. All right, got most off the beaters, and just kind of clean down the sides here. Oh, good miss, Kevin. All right, now gonna add in our flour and walnut mixture. Some of it around the edges there still. Let's get that out. Okay. And then more elbow grease is required, because now you need to cut this into all that butter. And this takes quite a bit. Basically, just, what I'm doing here is I'm using the side, get this out of the way, using the side of the spoon like a knife, basically, to cut through, cut through, cut through, cut through. And that way, I'm cutting the flour and walnut mixture into that butter mixture. There's still some on the side here. And slowly, it'll all start coming together. Now, once I've cut it all together, I'm using the back of the spoon, smoosh across it, and basically creaming the flour and walnut mixture into that butter mixture, just bringing it all together. And you see now what we're getting is we're starting to get where it will hold together like that. So when it does that, well, then we can make our cookies. So what I'm going to do now, let's get some of this stuff out of the way. I've got here is a baking sheet lined with baking or cooking paper, and I've got my sugar, and here I've got our mixture. So what I'm going to do now is just grab a handful, not quite that much. I want to roll them into balls about 1 inch, or about 25 millimeters. So you're going to roll into a ball about like that, roll around that sugar, flatten it a bit, down to about 1/2 inch, or 10 to 12 millimeters, and stick that on there. All right, you do that with the rest. Keep making 1 inch balls. All right, so there we go. We ended up with a dozen cookies on there. I got a little spacing between them on kind of a big inch, but about 1 inch, just so they can spread out a bit. All right, so that first batch going into the oven right now. 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius. Gonna bake them in there for 15 minutes. What I'm looking for is the edges just starting to get just slightly browny. Not really browny, but more like golden color brown. You know, this is very, very light. We call it here in Japan, we call it fox color, kitsuneiro, which basically is kind of the color of a fox's coat. So that's the color we're looking for. See you back here in 15 minutes. All right, those have been in the oven for exactly 15 minutes, and you can see around the edge here we're getting that fox color, because just a little bit of a tan, that's the name of the word I was looking for. A little bit of tan color happening around there, just about to start browning, but not yet browning. That is absolutely perfect. And they're smelling good. So what I want to do now, let these cool 3 to 5 minutes on here, move them to a rack, and let them cool totally. And then we're going to come back and chocolate dip them. See you then. All right, those cookies are well cooled now, so it's now time to add the chocolate dip. What I've got here, I've broken up chocolate bars. So it's dark chocolate, 6 ounces or 170 grams of dark chocolate. Over here, I've made myself a little double boiler because chocolate will seize up if we just melt chocolate all by itself. So we don't have to get too hot. So we've got water in here, in a smaller pan inside that. So what I'm going to do, first of all, let's get that water start heating up. We're going to bring that water up to a simmer, and the chocolate will be in a small pan. And once it starts melting, we're just going to stir it just until it melts. And then we're ready to start dipping. So that's going to take a couple minutes. Oh, already some chocolate, just a little bit. The very bottom is starting to melt. So a couple more minutes, we'll be ready to go. All right, I've been stirring that quite frequently, and towards the end here, just keep stirring and stirring, and look at that now. It's all melted. It's nice and smooth. So I'm going to take that off the heat. We'll bring that out of the water. Bring it over here. I guess someone has to lick the spoon. Yeah. All right. What I do now is just take cookies and just dunk them halfway down into the chocolate. And then what I've got here is I've got a piece of cooking paper, and notice I put it on one of my cutting boards, so that way I can take it afterwards and go directly to the fridge with these. So just put them down like that. Just keep dipping. Kind of let the excess pour off a little bit, and put them on the parchment paper. That's going to make it easy to peel them off afterwards after the chocolate has set. Oh, those are looking beautiful. That's going to be really nice. All right, just keep dipping. All right, now all the cookies have been dipped. They're on the parchment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, put it in the refrigerator, about 20 minutes. That will harden up the chocolate, and then we can peel them off the parchment paper. All right, see you then. All right, so these guys have just come out of the fridge, and you can see, I got stuck a bit there. And you can see the chocolate has solidified. So now, what we do is just kind of peel them off that wax paper. Oops. Try to peel up this way a bit. Anyways, there we go. I'm probably rushing a bit for the video. Probably leave them in there for another 5 minutes. But that's what you're going to end up with. You're going to end up with these beautiful chocolate dipped walnut shortbread cookies. It's a lovely combination. All right, you like this recipe? Stick around, there's a lot more here on the Kuma's Kitchen YouTube channel. So go check those out, and also make sure you subscribe, because there's a new one coming out every Monday. You don't want to miss those. These are all original Kevin Riley Kuma's Kitchen recipes. Also, if you're not yet a patron of Kuma's Kitchen, well, consider becoming one, because, hey, for as little as $3 a month, you could be supporting the creation of all these, and you also get access to all the cool stuff that the patrons are getting access to right now. All right, now go make these cookies. Have a great time, and make cooking fun again in Kuma's Kitchen.